right, so we are so excited. We are leaving tomorrow for our 5-day Marvel Day at Sea on the Disney Dream. We're just pumped.
Yeah, getting ready. This will be our first Disney cruise. So we got to drive down to Fort Lauderdale. So it's only a 2.5, 3 hour drive for us. We got a board time of 12:30.
So yeah, unfortunately we live right by Port Canaveral, but the Marvel Day at Sea cruise leaves out of Fort Lauderdale, so we're gonna head down there. Hope to get to the port by about a little after 12, maybe, for our 12:30 boarding time. Everything says don't get there too early, or you may just be standing around waiting for your board time. So that's our plan. We have our passports, yes. Swimsuits packed in our carry-ons. Magic Band Plus. Yeah, I think those are the biggest things that we wanted to make sure we got. Passports being number one. There are a lot of horror stories about people showing up without their passports and not being able to board. So yeah, make sure you have those. And then, yeah, so I think we're about ready to go. We're fully packed and we got our luggage tags on our suitcases and ready to go.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and kind of document at least the embarkation out of Fort Lauderdale, which should be fairly easy. They're pretty organized, and yeah, the rest of the time on the ship.
Yeah, we'll let you know how it goes.
All right, so as you can see, you walk into the brand new port in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It is Finding Nemo themed. The line looks really long, but we actually got through it fairly quickly.
Yeah, it only took about 25, 30 minutes. That was with our boarding time. They really keep the line moving pretty well, so there was no issues there.
And then once you get through the line, you get into this line, and we had obviously no wait here to take our pictures and to board onto the ship.
Yeah, so the next one was actually heading up the gangway, ready onto the ship. So as you get up to the front there, they're going to ask you what your family name is, and then they make the announcement. So it was pretty cool. But there was a small group in front of us, and then you'll see on the next clip, they'll actually go ahead and do our announcement, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and that once we got through the initial line, like everything went really quickly after that, and we just basically walked right onto the ship here.
All right, so next we head up to the main deck. Make sure you pack your bathing suits or kind of have them on for the kids, because it's a great time to hit up the pool, do the slides. We actually made use of the time and headed up to the aqueduct, because that does fill up pretty quick.
Yeah, there were lines pretty much the whole time we were on the ship.
Yeah, so it's a great day to do it. There's minimal lines because they got to do it multiple times, and they really enjoyed that. And then we were pretty much just waiting for our room to get ready.
Yeah, so make sure when you're getting on the ship, you do not pack your swimsuits in your suitcase. Bring that in your carry-on and anything else you want. So as we were waiting for the app to tell us that our room was ready, it came ready right around 1:30. So we just hung out and swam for a while, and then we headed down to our room.
All right, so we've just got to our rooms. We are on the 6th floor. We got a balcony, and as you walk in, kind of see we've got a bed over here and the couch. Looks fairly typical veranda room in a cruise ship. But the special thing here is that you walk into this area and you have your sink and your toilet, and then you come over here and you have another door. You open this one up, and here is another sink and your shower. All these lovely Disney shampoo, conditioner, and body wash that I'm excited to try out. So this is really nice, because if one person's getting ready in the shower, the other person can still be getting ready in the other side of the bathroom. You also have some decent closet space over here. There's 2 closets that you can, we obviously have already gotten into the aqueduct, so we have wet bathing suits, but you can hang up all your clothes there. We haven't gotten our suit bags yet, but we did see as we were walking down the hallway that people were starting to get bags, so they are starting to show up. We obviously brought our own wine. More storage space here, so once our bags come, we can start taking things out and putting them away. Decent sized bed over here, and then over here, this bed will turn in, or this couch will turn into a bed, And then this one will come down and be that other bunk, so that you can fit 2 kids in here. Then over here you have the TV, you have a desk, you have a fridge. Doesn't fit a whole lot, but you can see it will fit 3 bottles of champagne. Each adult can bring 2 bottles of wine with them, or a 6-pack of beer, and a decent amount of storage space. So that's really good. So if you're on ours is a 5-day cruise. You do have a hairdryer in here. So we will probably unpack our stuff because it just makes it a little easier. And then you look in here, you've got some nice postcards if you want to take those and send them to a friend, maybe. And then out here is the balcony. So down here, obviously it's not a great view yet, but the balcony itself is a decent size. We can fit all 4 of us out here. And if you are, you do have a neighbor that you know, you can remove the partition so that you can sit right next to them and hang out. All right, so that is our room. Like I said, pretty decent size. Looks pretty good. We're excited. Can't wait for our stuff to get here. We're gonna head up and grab some food at the buffet and get ready for our muster drill and the sail away party.
All right, so after we got into our room, we went ahead and to explore the rest of the ship. This is deck 3, pretty much the main area where we're going to have a lot of the character meet and greets, and then we'll kind of take a tour of the other area where it's going to have the shops and the shows.
Yeah, so as you can see here, you can look into the shops while you're still at port there, but they do not open until after you set sail. So we walked around, checked out the different shops, and of course we did some shopping a little bit later on once they opened up that day. And then you come into here and you can see it's all decorated with the golden Mickeys. Beautiful area. And then back towards the back is going to be where the theater is. So here's the theater. As you can see, our kids hanging out. So this is where we went for the muster drill. And then every night for the different shows that were going on. Our kids doing their Avengers poses.
Yeah, and then they have a scavenger hunt on the ship, so we'll see a little bit of that, but the kids really enjoyed that throughout the trip.
Stuff it, shrimp. Okay. We'll talk about this later. Good grief. Hefe, what we need is a real detective. Hey, how about you? Can you help us?
Oh, I don't think so, Carmen. I think we could do better, okay?
No, listen.
So this was a really fun little scavenger hunt. You can choose between 2 different scavenger hunts, and then you just go around the ship and find the different pictures, and the pictures are actually interactive, and they give you clues so that you can solve the scavenger hunt. Our kids really, really enjoyed doing this throughout the entire trip.
Yeah, and so then after this was about time for the sail away party, so we headed up to the deck there on the top of the ship to check it out.
What up, dogs? And last but not least, Mickey Mouse! Let's sail away!
All right, so we headed up to deck 12, which is right above where the show is going to be at. About 20 minutes early just to get a good place along the rail there. And then we were able to find a good spot about 20 minutes prior to the show starting.
Yep, and then after the show was over, we decided to head down to the kids club where they were doing an open house so we could go explore and let our kids check it out.
All right, so next was the kids club. They have these awesome hand washers that are kind of these automatic hand washing machines.
So once you're done washing your hands, then you can head right in, and they do this every time they go into the kids club. Um, First stop, this is the Oceaneers Club. So they have this great interactive floor. They played all kinds of games. This also happened to be where they did the Avengers Initiative training, which was in the calendar on your apps. So you can always see times to come in and do that. That was one of the must-dos for our son.
Yep, one of the other rooms is kind of a, I guess like a game room. So all those consoles there are going to be different gaming systems that they can pull out and play while they're in there. Obviously, they're not out right now, but definitely a huge room. Plenty of gaming systems where the kids can play.
Yep, and then you head in, you can have an area to play with its Pixie Hollow themed. Really good theming in all of these rooms. And then you go next door, and this one is Star Wars themed. This one was our favorite, I'll say.
Yeah, this was really great. I mean, even the parents were lining up there to check out the Millennium Falcon. It was pretty interactive, where it wasn't full-on gameplay, but it was really great and really awesome.
Yeah, so then you head out, and there's a few different rooms, so you can go explore. You can see the Star Wars room was pretty big. You also have, so that's a stage area there that they use. Obviously, this was just with all the parents were there, so they weren't doing all of the things that they normally do once the kids are there by themselves. But here's Andy's room.
Yeah, the nice part here was the floors were actually carpeted and padded, so those were pretty soft.
Yep, absolutely. And so normally parents are not allowed in here. So as soon as it's not open house anymore, there are no adults allowed in here except for the cast members.
Yep, there's plenty of cast members. The kids were having a great time, and our kids had a great time doing the kids club.
Yep. And if you look here, this is the interactive Millennium Falcon. I don't actually know that the kids were doing anything, but they sure felt like they were, and they were having a lot of fun with it. There was a huge line to check out the Millennium Falcon.
And then right behind where the Millennium Falcon's at, they got a pretty much life-size interactive R2-D2 that does his beeps and squeaks as you walk by.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then you can go into this area. This area here is like a hallway with a bunch of tables, but this is how you get to the Oceaneers lab from the Oceaneers Club. So that's kind of the more like STEM area, science, art, I guess STEAM area. So they've got all kinds of places to do art projects. They have lots of interactive art. They also have drawing classes, all obviously another interactive floor there. More games to play. You can see this is the explorer's room, so they're kind of like video games in there. This was our daughter's favorite area to be in. They have an area to watch TV. There's just all kinds of different rooms, and like we said, when there are no adults in there, this is an area where there are the cast members all around just doing all kinds of things. And again, they put all of the different things on the app so you can see when these are going on, and the kids can join the kids club during those events.
Yeah, the schedule's there on the app, so I mean, really, if there's different activities that kids want to partake in, just check out the app and you can go on those times. Again, it's probably more suited for the 10 and up ages. Our daughter's 10, so she definitely enjoyed.
Okay, so as you can see, these characters, they do such a great job. Like, they're really interactive. They have a lot of fun with everybody, and they actually spend a pretty decent amount of time with you. So it was a lot of fun getting to talk to them, and they were definitely in character.
Yeah, they were. There was definitely a line for these. We had to wait at least 20 minutes, and we were kind of in the front of the line, but they do fill up fast.
Then we headed over, got to see Shang-Chi. So some of these, the lines aren't quite as long, but pretty much everybody had a pretty decent line. There are a few that are scheduled in advance. So we did have one on that day.
Yeah, so the advanced booking ones were just as long. This was actually inside one of the restaurants to meet Thor. And they do spend a lot of time with each and every all the groups going through, but really you are waiting a long time. I think we probably waited about 30 to 45 minutes for this experience.
Yep, and we even got there at our booking time, and maybe even a little bit early, like a little bit early. I think they let you get in line about 15 minutes early, and we still waited a pretty significant amount of time. And they don't, again, they don't tell you who you're going to meet. Some people got to meet Loki and Thor. Some people just met Loki. Some people just met Thor. We happened to meet Thor. He was a great Thor, as you can see, and he was a lot of fun, and we had a great time.
Yeah, and then we'll go ahead and sign or do whatever you want as far as anything you want to bring with you. Yeah, so around about 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Marvel Day, the characters start roaming the halls. So we were able to get to meet Captain Marvel.
Yeah, we were really excited about this one because we'd missed her earlier in the day. So it was a fun one to get to catch.
Here's what tell me. Now, who is your favorite superhero, Bruce?
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel? Oh my gosh. I got to fight her against Thanos, and she is one strong hero.
And we actually just met her right over now.
I know, I'm going to have to go introduce myself and say hi.
Then on the app, you'll also find in the schedule that there are shows all around the ship, especially on Marvel Day. So we stopped in and caught this one. There are some other ones around the ship as well.
Greetings. It is a great honor to stand before you today on behalf of the Kingdom of Mohammed. I am.
So Marble Day at Sea dinner was our second night at Animator's Palette, and it had a special menu. That menu was the same at all of the restaurants, so it didn't matter where you were eating that night. We the menu was pretty good on that night. It wasn't our favorite. I think that was probably our least favorite of the meals that we had.
Yeah, and then after dinner, we headed down to one of the shows, which was really great. And here's a clip of that.
And now, a special message from Captain America!
Thank you, Becky. Thank you, Joe. And thank all of you. I wanted to drop by and let you all know that although this club represents a time and place long ago, it also represents the very best of the human spirit. Even in times of great struggle, we, the people, came together to dance, to sing, to laugh, and to dream. Now, I've been around a while, and I've seen a lot of things. Some bad, some truly good. But the very best was the spirit of the people. So you keep on dreaming, and keep that spirit alive. I salute you.
This was one of the smaller shows. You can see it's not in the usual Walt Disney Theater. It was actually in one of the smaller lounges, but it was outstanding. It was just a USO Captain America show.
Yep, and then kids could come to this one too, even though it was in the adult area. And then when we got out of dinner, all the Avengers were pretty much just hanging out in the center area, which was really great. There was kind of just, ad hoc lines for each of the characters, and they were there to meet and greet everybody, so it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and even Loki and Thor were interacting with each other, and they kind of had a whole bit going. It was really fun to get to watch that. And then we were walking around, saw Shuri in her Black Panther costume, and we got to get that autograph. So we just got to get a lot of good autographs.
Then we headed back to our room after dinner to drop our stuff off. You can see the two beds right there, which is one's a fold down, which is a great option for us.
And that evening, we decided to head up to the adult-only area. So this is Pink, the champagne bar. Some really great music playing, good champagne. It was just a lot of fun to just hang out. You can see that there's not many people up there at this time, but this was right before the Marvel Day at Sea show.
Then we headed up to probably the most popular show, which was the Marvel Day at Sea show there in the evening. We had asked one of the cast members where the best place to watch the fireworks were, since the fireworks do go on the starboard side. They had actually said on the main deck is the best option. And then actually where we were at on this position, there was a couple steps that kind of are part of the pool, but it kind of gives you just an elevated spot to watch them from, and then you're pretty much just turn to your right and see the fireworks.
Yeah, and if you are a Marvel fan, this show was amazing. This incorporated all of the Marvel characters. It was interactive. It was spectacular. This might have been probably my favorite of the shows on the ship.
Yeah, it really was. And then also, I mean, the length of the show and everything, they had all the characters come out. You'll kind of see the fireworks show as well, but just really top notch all the way around.
Avengers Assemble!
Then we had a nightcap at the Skyline Bar. I think it was pretty empty because everyone was kind of going back to the rooms, making sure their kids were either in bed or getting settled for the night. But it was a pretty cool bar. They have kind of drinks from all around the world as part of their menu, which we'll show you here in a bit. But and then the kind of the ambiance changes from city to city every about 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, and the drinks were actually themed to each of those cities. So that was really kind of cool. And we'll kind of give you show you how each of those show up. And you can order these whichever city is up on the screen. Yeah, so you pick your city and it shows you, and you can scroll through and pick the drink from that city. You can see there's Chicago, New York, there's Paris, Rio, a lot of great choices.
All right, so the next day was our Cozumel day. We opted to stay on the ship and kind of explore since we've been to Cozumel recently. You can kind of see here below is where all the different kind of excursion groups are meeting up, or if you need a taxi to get into town, they're all right there as you get off the ship.
Yep, or you can just walk into town from there as well. We opted to stay on, like you said, and we had a character meet and greet. So this was another one of the advanced booking character meet and greets. This was the headquarters. So we didn't really know what we were going to get, but we did have obviously Spider-Man. You can see he's very interactive. He has a lot of the same mannerisms as Spider-Man. And then from there, in the same room, you go across the way, and you also have Iron Man. And they do spend a lot of time kind of talking to you and really interacting and asking questions.
And then we kind of headed up to the adults only area. So that's Currents Bar. They actually have a decent IPA on tap. That was difficult to find on the ship, but you can see below is the other adults area section below that has a bar and a kind of just a waiting pool you can just hang out in, which was pretty utilized by a lot of folks throughout the cruise.
Yeah, you can see it's pretty slow today because everybody's off the ship because we are at Cozumel that day.
And then we just kind of took a tour of the back area again. Not very busy today, but this is kind of the adults only area where it's a lot quieter than the rest of the ship in the main pool. And then behind the glass there is the concierge section, which only a few people were in there, but again, just a nice quiet getaway.
Yep, and then back here is where you can find some sports. You saw that was the basketball. If you walk back this way, you're going to see there was a little putt-putt golf course and the beautiful ocean out in Mexico. Then, yeah, this little golf course, you just grab some clubs, you grab a ball, and you just play your way around. It's nothing official, you just play until you're done. And I think we did that a couple of times. Then we headed down to Vanellope's, and this is an ice cream shop and a lot of other sweets. They have some really amazing ice creams and tons of toppings, and you can really choose kind of anything you want to. And one of the nice things about here is that you can order your ice cream and request that it be brought to your dinner table. So our daughter did this. She went there during the day and they brought it to our dinner table at the end of the night, and it was absolutely amazing. You get all the people kind of looking around, watching, and wondering how you do that. So there was a lot of really great options there.
Right, and today was Pirate Night at Sea, so we were actually playing shuffleboard. We actually saw Daisy walking around, so she stopped and took pictures with us about the time where kind of the characters start walking around, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so it wasn't just Marvel characters walking around, which was kind of nice. Then that night we went down and had our first meal that was in Enchanted Garden. So we had 2 meals in Enchanted Garden. This was a beautiful setting. Like you really did feel like you were in a garden, and the food was delicious.
Right, another thing we opted for was to get breakfast delivered to our room every morning, which is really great. You just fill out the card the night before, leave it on the door, and it was pretty much ready there at the time we specified.
Yeah, and it was good stuff. It wasn't great, but you may get better food up at the restaurants or the buffet. But for us, this was ideal being able to sit out and watch us sail on through. All right, so we made it to Castaway Key, and as you get off the ship, you take this short walkway down past the ocean, and you take it right over to the tram. So you have the option of either hopping on the tram or continuing the walk, which is about 8 to 10 minutes to the beach.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. We opted for walking. I think we got there actually before the rest of the people on the tram did. There's kind of a mad rush because everyone's trying to get a good seat. But if you go early enough, it's not an issue at all. But either way, you can walk or go ahead and take the tram that you see right here.
Okay, so this is the walkway. If you choose to walk, you can see the whole thing is paved. It's a really easy, beautiful walk. You can see that is the marina straight out in front of us. So if you have any water sports or water events, that's where you're going to go to do those. And it's just a really nice view all the way out to the beaches. There's two family beaches on the other side, and if you look back, you can see the beautiful Disney Dream right behind us.
Okay, and this is the family beach. We actually walked initially a little further, but that actually ended up being kind of the toddler family beach area, and that was definitely more crowded than this section of the beach was. So definitely recommend kind of just staying on the first set of family beaches that you see there. I had a lot more fun at this one.
So we opted to do the 5K before it got too hot in the day. This is kind of an on your honor system. You run down the runway area. You've got a little loop there that you go through. It was already getting a little bit warm, but it definitely got hotter throughout the day, so it was a good time to do it.
All right, so we are doing the 5K. We think we are.
We think we are, yeah.
Yeah, it takes you down big long, kind of go through from the bike. You start at the bike rack, end of the bike rack. Then you do a run through, kind of go through the runway. Then there's a bike loop, and then you keep going down towards the cabanas. And there's something that way. We haven't.
So this is the bike path, so we're assuming it's also the 5K.
Yeah. So we're at 1 point.
Yeah, 2.19 miles.
Yeah,
right now.
2.1. So we're hopefully that there's the path that keeps going and going and going, but that will make it. So
Yeah, so either 5K or more.
yeah, so it's been fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so on our run, we actually ran by Serenity Bay. They actually have their own barbecue food area, so you don't have to worry about going to the main area during lunchtime, and the food is quite good. We did not really get to hang out too much in this section, but just wanted to go check it out. They definitely have a pretty nice beach. Again, it's 18 or over only, and they do have a bunch of little water activities. You can see there you can get life vest. But yeah, the water is just as beautiful as the main area, probably a little more, because it's kind of on the other side of the island there. But they've got their own bar and drinks and everything else that you would want to partake in. The halfway point, there was a turnaround, so we got water. They have water right there. And then we've got pretty much a nice view of the beach and everything else. So we're going to head on back and get our medals.
Okay, so after our 5K, we headed down to the marina. We actually pre-booked the banana boat ride. So we went down to check in for that. As you can see, there's a lot of other events that you can do. And then also the Stingray Adventures a little further on down here as well. That's a very popular excursion here on Castaway Key.
All right, so after we signed our waivers and everything, we got on the banana boat. The kids were up front for weight purposes, and this was a really good time.
So as we were going, we stopped at some point, and one of the captains jumped in and grabbed a couple of things. He grabbed this conch shell and let us pass it around, and then he also grabbed a starfish that we passed around, and we did return those to the sea. As you can see, you are on there with strangers, and they do seat you, so you won't necessarily get to sit with your family because they need to adjust the weight. And check out that water. This water was absolutely beautiful turquoise. You could see all the way to the bottom. And there's the starfish he pulled out. It was incredible.
Okay, so after our quick stop, we headed back over to the marina, kind of a expedited trip back, but it was a lot of fun. We got a great view of the ship there onto our right-hand side. Really just a great way to see the ship from a different perspective. And then just our final cruise in back to the marina. Definitely highly recommend this one. It was a lot of fun. Broke up the day, and the kids had a blast.
Then we headed out and got some lunch. There are 3 places to get lunch. 2 of them over in the family area. It's barbecue. It's classic barbecue. It's got burgers, hot dogs, ribs. There was salmon, vegetables, potato salad. It was actually really good for what it was. It was just a buffet style, but there was a lot of seating and great food.
All right, the rest of the island, there's plenty of bars if you want to get a drink. They even have a coffee machine there that has espresso. Those ones you do have to pay for. The food is included, but the drinks are not. And then we spent the rest of the time kind of just walking around, checking things out. There's plenty of shopping if you want to go ahead and stop there. And again, we're just kind of our walk back to the ship. It was a great day.
All night. The next morning, went to Palo Brunch. This is an adult-only dining area, and it does cost extra, but it is well worth it, especially for brunch. That is an all-you-can-eat, and they encourage you to eat a lot. You can order one of everything if you like. As you can see, this is the charcuterie plate, so that's the classic charcuterie there. Meats and cheeses. You get a bread plate. And then this is a seafood charcuterie, which was absolutely delicious. I think we ended up getting 2 of these, and possibly regretting it because there was so much food to come afterwards. But everything on those plates was absolutely amazing.
All right, so this was some of our favorite dishes. This was the poached eggs on toasted buttered English muffin. This was the rosemary ham one with a holiday sauce. It was really good. And then they also have amazing flatbreads. We could only eat 2 pieces. They really encourage you to eat. There's a wonderful view. We had the late brunch, so we were one of the last tables to be seated in there. But really, we kind of got our own, almost the restaurant to ourselves. You can see the rest of it's empty, but it's at the rear of the ship. Amazing views. Highly recommend it. It was just almost too much food, but again, we would definitely do it again. Like I said, the food was amazing. It was just we were just stuffed the entire day.
And the last evening, we found our favorite bar, the Meridian. This is located between Paolo and Remy, the 2 adult dining areas. They had quite a selection of bourbon and wine. It was, and the view is just spectacular.
Yeah, this really was. You can grab a drink, and then over to the left-hand side there, you can sit inside, but one of the best seats is going to be outside overlooking the water. This is kind of the rear of the ship, but it was a great way to spend the evenings. Yeah, this is probably one of our best spots on the whole entire ship.
Overall, this was an amazing vacation, and I can highly recommend Disney Cruise Line.